Hello, and welcome to Friday Evening Yen with Erin. I'll be guiding you through our practice tonight. We'll be using a few props for this sequence. So you'll need a couple of blankets or towels, a strap of some kind, and a block, whether those are yoga props or household objects, whatever you got, that'll work. And we'll get started tonight on our backs. So finding a shape on the floor, putting the spine to the earth, letting the arms rest wherever feels comfortable, and closing the eyes, bringing the attention inward, doing a quick scan of the senses, first noticing the sounds that you hear around you, whether they're in a room with you, coming in from outside. Noticing physical sensations, touch, feeling your skin against the floor, noticing how your clothes feel in your body, noticing smell, what scents are in the space around you. Perhaps it's pretty subtle. Face, maybe running the tongue on the inside of the mouth, the lips, seeing what you notice. And again, perhaps it's very subtle. And then with our eyes closed, paying attention to the colors and shapes that you see behind the darkness of your closed eyelids. And letting all of that go, Start to deepen the breath. Inhaling through the nose, fill the belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling through the nose, chest, ribs, and belly. Feeling the rise and fall of your upper body. As you inhale and exhale. And slowly bring the palms to cover the eyes. Taking a deep inhale and exhaling to gently blink the eyes open before removing the palms and letting the light come back into our field of vision. And then we'll inhale to draw knees in towards the chest, wrapping arms around shins, the backs of the thighs, and just start to rock back and forth on the lower back. Giving the hips a little bit of a massage here. And take arms out wide to a T. And with the breath, we'll exhale the knees over to one side, keeping shoulders connected to the ground. Inhale back to center. Exhale both knees together over to the other side. Continuing this slow, gentle twist. Maybe the knees don't make it all the way to the ground. Maybe you start to bring head and neck into it. You can gaze over opposite arm. You send the knees over to each side. Take one more round on each side. And then meeting back in center. Roll over to either side. And then cross up to a comfortable seat. Option here to grab one of your blankets, place it under sits bones, elevate the hips. That gives you more comfort. And a comfortable cross-legged seat. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale to drop right arm down, the left arm comes up and over, using your fingertips. And then we'll take some big, slow circles with that left arm. So exploring the edges of the range of motion of that shoulder joint. And feeling it opening through the left side of the upper body as we do this. And then taking those circles in the opposite direction. And then maybe left arm up and over again. And have to come back through center. And exhale to drop left palm to the floor, right arm reaches out long. First creating length from that right hip through right fingertips, and then starting to take those big slow circles with the right arm. And switching directions. And then inhaling, right arm back up and over. And pressing back up through center. Exhaling, hands down to thighs or knees. We'll grab our strap next, and we're going to do my favorite, shoulder flossing. So to start, we're going to take a shoulder width grip on our strap, so hands will be fairly close together. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. We're going to exhale to bend at the elbows, pulling the strap behind the head, squeezing shoulder blades together. Inhale to slowly press back up. Exhale to bend. I'm just continuing with this. Using the tension in the strap to pull arms back behind the head. You find that sweet spot, you should be getting quite a bit of sensation here. Let's do a couple more of these. And then we'll exhale to release hands down, roll up the shoulders a bit, shift up the wrists, and then we'll take a wider grip on our strap here, dropping hands down. So your grip should allow your straight arms to fall at about hip width distance, more or less, and you can adjust as we go here. Starting with arms out in front, we'll inhale, arms up overhead, and then exhale to drop arms behind the back, all the way back down. Inhale to slowly bring that strap overhead, and exhale forward, rounding up the shoulders a little bit as you come up and over. And continuing at your own pace here. You can widen the grip if you're finding it difficult to bring the arms back behind your head, or if it feels too easy and you want to move it a little bit deeper, get more sensation, you can bring that grip closer together. Let's do a couple more rounds of this. And then the next time, you bring hands to rest in front of you. I'll release the strap, roll up the shoulders again, shake out the wrists and elbows. And then we'll grab our block, bring it up towards the top of the mat, and any other blankets that you have. And we'll strap the blankets up on top of one another, widthwise. At the center of the mat, and you're going to sit right on top of them to start. You're going to be moving into a supported reverse plank. So walk hands out behind us, legs are out long, toes reaching towards the bottom of the mat, and hips are resting against our blanket props here. From here, we're going to bring our block prop right up to the top of the mat, and we're going to use that to let the head rest. So we'll start to drop down to the elbows, let the head drop back to your block support. You can adjust the height if you want to deepen the opening through the fronts of the shoulders. You can bring the block down to the lower height, or you can take it out entirely. And finding a spot that works for you. Settling in, deepening the breath, keeping the chest and collarbone lifted here, keeping the throat open. Taking one more full breath. And then inhale, starting to press back up onto the palms. Press back up to a seat. Keep it nice and slow. There's an adjustment for circulation in the head. So giving yourself a moment. Are moving on. We'll come off of our blankets. We'll bring them out in front of us. We'll come into a wide-legged seated position. You can snug the blankets right up to the body here. Maybe bring the block to rest on top for additional support, depending on how deeply you want or are able to move into this stretch. We'll begin by inhaling a nice long spine, reaching the crown of the head for the sky. And then exhale, begin by hinging from the hips to fold forward, folding over the props. Before rounding the back, maybe letting the crown of the head reach for the floor. Breathing into the inner muscles and fascia of the legs. Inhale, start to slowly walk hands back towards the body, back upright. We'll slide the props out of the way. And staying in this wide-legged stance, I'll walk both hands over towards the right leg. Inhale to lengthen, and then we'll exhale to start to fold over to the right. Action here to grab right foot with right hand and open up for a little bit of a twist. Left fingertips reaching out long. And if you've taken that twist, dropping the left palm back to the ground, right palm to the ground. And inhaling to walk hands back in towards the hips. Come up to a tall seat. Center. And then we'll move to the second side. Walking arms over left leg. Inhaling first for a long spine. And then exhaling to melt over left leg. And then option to take that twist on this side. Opening out the chest. Really opening and lengthening through the side body. keep shaking that twist, bringing right palm back to plant on the floor, left palm, and then walking hands back towards the body to come up to a tall seat. And then release that wide-legged stance, crossing at the ankles, and we'll rock forward to all fours. Into a neutral tabletop. And from here, we'll reach right fingertips out and up towards the sky, opening up. And then exhale to thread that right arm through left arm, left leg. Right shoulder comes to the floor. Right cheek comes to the floor. And just allowing the upper body to melt down towards the earth. And thread the needle. Your left hand can stay planted next to the face. Arm to come up overhead. Or maybe you take a bind, wrapping the left arm behind the lower back. And just breathing into that right shoulder and right neck. And then if you've taken a variation with the arm, bringing left hand back to plant by the shoulder, and then inhaling to press yourself back up to a neutral tabletop. And taking a full round of breath in our neutral tabletop. And then on our next inhale, we'll reach left fingertips up for the sky. And exhale to thread that left arm through right arm, right leg, letting the left cheek and left shoulder fall to the mat. And allowing the upper body to melt towards the floor. And again, choosing a variation with the right arm. Perhaps that means keeping it right where it is, reaching up overhead, or wrapping it back behind the waist for a bind. And breathing into the space that is being created in the left shoulder and left side of the neck. And then if you've taken any variation with the top arm, slowly bringing that palm back to plant under the shoulder. And then inhaling to unwind yourself. Once again, finding a neutral tabletop to reset the spine.
Next we'll grab our block. This will be an optional modification for the next pose. And we'll step the feet back to a plank just briefly, and then drop knees and hips to the floor and come to rest on the forearms for Sphinx pose. And our first option here is to stay right here in a traditional Sphinx, supporting the upper body with the elbows and forearms, slight tuck to the tailbone, slight pressing the pubic bone gently into the floor to protect the lower back and keeping the front of the chest open. Otherwise, you can also bring your block in closer to the body and let the forehead rest on the block for a more restorative version. Whatever your body is calling for today, the restorative version will be more calming, soothing for the nervous system. The traditional Sphinx pose will be a little more energizing, creating some opening in the chest as a very gentle back bend heart opener. Choosing your shape. One more full breath in whatever version of Sphinx you've chosen. And then if you've chosen to use the block, we'll start to gently lift the forehead away, moving the block out from under us. And then we'll exhale to let the whole chest come towards the floor. Bringing hands to stack on one another, letting the forehead rest against our stacked palms or wrists. Letting the heels fall out towards the outer edges of the mat. On an inhale, start to lift the head away from the floor. Walk hands back under the shoulders to press back up to a seated position. And we'll grab our blankets again. And you might want to refold them so that they're longer rather than wider. Getting them set up. We're going to set them up the long way on the mat here. Kind of running down the center. And then we're going to sit off to one side, snugging our hips right up against the base of our supports here, knees bent. And we're going to inhale to lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, start to twist towards the blankets, bringing hands to either side of them. And then start to walk hands towards the top of the mat, laying the upper body over our support for a reclined twist. And either cheek can come to the ground or to the blankets here, depending on how deep of a twist you want. Feeling the support of the earth and the support of your props underneath you. And one more full breath in this shape. And your next inhale, start to walk hands back towards the body, gently pressing back up to a seated position. And then setting up for the second side. So bringing the other hip snug up against your support props, knees bent. And inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhaling to twist towards the props and walk the hands out to lay the upper body down into your reclined twist. Once again, finding a position with the head that feels right to you. And just letting the body soften into the twist. And taking one more full breath in this twist. And with your inhale, gently guiding yourself back up to a seat. And we'll keep the blankets where they are. And we'll come to sit so that the base of the spine is right up against them. And the blankets are behind us. And then we'll bring soles of the feet to touch, knees open out wide. Heels can be any distance from the hips, whatever is comfortable for you. And then we'll start to walk hands back behind us to again lay the upper body over our blankets, lay the head back. An option to bring the arms out wide or alongside the body, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. You are welcome to stay in this shape as your final resting pose if you like being here. You can straighten the legs if you want. Otherwise, we'll begin to move towards our final Shavasana, however that might look for you. Feeling free to use your props to support the body in whatever way you would like. And in whatever shape you're moving toward, eventually finding stillness and feeling the body sink and give in to gravity, held up by the earth. And we'll start to deepen the breath. Again, noticing the rise and fall of the belly as you inhale and exhale. Bringing some small movements into fingers and toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. Rocking head side to side. And letting that movement start to travel up the limbs before inhaling to reach arms overhead, taking a long body stretch, and then exhaling to roll to either side, curling up into a little ball. And taking a few restorative breaths here before gently pressing yourself back up to a seated position. Eyes can stay closed. And we'll bring hands to heart center. Just taking a moment to acknowledge and have some gratitude for yourself for taking time out of your day for your yoga practice, and for anyone else who may have joined you on their mats tonight. Hands can come to third eye center. And the light and teacher in me honors and salutes the light and teacher in all of you. Namaste. All right, thanks everybody. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend.